Hello and welcome to Pictorial Planet. My name is John Finch. Today we're going to be looking at a little bit of that old magic from the darkroom days. It's a technique of sort of replenishing a paper developer, but this adds a little sparkle, a little something, and maybe the edge in your prints compared to someone else's. Let's go over to the darkroom now and have a look at how we do that. We've talked a lot about replenishing developers, specifically D23. I use D23 replenished quite a lot, particularly with HP5 or FP4 when I'm doing portrait work. But we've never talked about replenishing paper developers. And that's because they're normally not replenished. You normally use a paper developer until it starts to get tired and then you throw it out. But there is a way of replenishing paper developers in a specific fashion, and that is to use what they call old brown. Now this is old brown here. It's old paper developer. You use your paper developer until it starts to get tired, and you can tell it's getting tired because the time it takes for the initial image to start to appear gets longer and longer and longer. And I find when my initial image appearance is twice as long as when I initially started using the developer, that's when it's getting too tired for me and I'm going to replace it. But you don't have to throw that developer away. Instead, we're going to catch this, we're going to store this, and we're going to use it in our next batch. So here I have a container, and I'm going to put my old brown into this container. So I've just popped a funnel into the top of that container and I'll pour my old brown into it. And I can keep this for a long period of time. I keep this until I make my next developer batch, and then I'll throw what's left away and I'll use the next old brown to put into this and await my next paper developer batch. So let's make a new batch now, and I'll show you how to do that using old brown. So I'm going to make a batch of Agfa 100. I've already made the concentrate, and so I'm going to use this to make a working paper developer. Now normally I would dilute this 1+2, so that would be 330 milliliters of this concentrate made up to 1 liter with water. But what I'm going to do is make it half strength. By making it half strength, I can then add my old brown to make it up to 1 liter, and that will give me a lovely ripe developer, and we'll talk about that a little more in a moment. So to make it at half strength, I'll use 150 milliliters of this. Here's my graduate, and I'll put in just over 150. There we are. Of my concentrate. Put that in. Now I'm going to add a little bit of water. So basically I'm making my half strength 1+2, and then I'm adding the old brown. Making it up to 1 liter. So here is our pre-ripened developer, and I said I'd talk a little bit more about that. So when you start to use a fresh developer for your papers, byproducts are being formed all the time by the development of the paper. As the silver halides in the paper are reduced by the developer, these byproducts are created, and they're things like bromides. Now these are the same byproducts that you get with a replenished film developer. And what happens is they start to actually improve the developer a little. And it gets to a peak where it's the perfect balance of fresh developing agents and byproducts. And we call that a ripe developer. It's really good. It's at its peak. It's giving you the sharpest prints. It's giving you the best whites and the best blacks. And what we've done here is basically made a pre-ripened developer. And this is ready to use straight away. So I'm going to print something right now and I'll show you it. Okay, I'm popping my exposed paper into my new working paper developer. 50% of regular developer and 50% of old brown, pre-seasoning the developer. Now I always put my paper upside down first. Some people don't. Some people put theirs face up. That's fine. Do whatever you are comfortable with. And I'll just keep agitating it gently, front to rear and then left to right. So we get a really good gentle agitation, but no surge marks of any kind. Now that developer, you saw it, it looked terrible, didn't it? Brown and awful, and you'd think, will that work? Well, let me tell you, it works beautifully. Yep, it's lovely. And I'm going to give it 2 minutes in the developer. Because of the old brown, I give it a little bit longer than my normal factorial amount of 5 times the appearance time. So just like film with replenishment, film developer, we'll get a slightly sharper image, improved whites, and good blacks. That's what I'm looking for. Now this will only work with a metol based developer. Maybe people do it with phenidone and vitamin C developers, but I don't think it works properly. It needs the metol because the metol is affected by these byproducts. Pop that in there. This is the stop bath. Always use a stop bath with paper development. You can't use water. If you leave any developer in the paper and put it into fix, you are risking stains. And they might not appear straight away. They might appear years later. But any developer left in the paper may create stains. So use a stop bath. And this is just a regular vinegar stop bath. So now I'm going to pop it in the fix and I'll show you the finished image. Here's the photograph. Let's take a look at it now. I think that's really nice. It's a bit of that Darkroom Magic from yesteryear. They used to do this a lot in the old days, and we don't hear about it much anymore, but it really does work. I think the highlights are improved very slightly. Now, it's hard without an actual seeing two photographs side by side, but let me just tell you, as I look at this, I'm very pleased with these highlights. If I can focus on them there for you. And if you pause your video and just take a look at that, it's really nice. It looks three-dimensional. The blacks are there. There's a brown as well. I think it has made the image slightly browner. Now this is regular RC Ilford paper, so it's not it doesn't have any brown or tone up to it at all, but looking at this, there is a slight tone, and that's another thing that the added bromides from the old brown has done. It's giving it a little bit of warmth, a little bit of tone, which is very pleasant to the eye. I hope that was interesting for you. I want you to go and try this. I encourage you to have a go with your old paper developer. Keep it by and use it 50-50 with Fresh Developer, and just see if you like what it's giving you, and write in the comments below. Tell me your experiences of using this. Thanks ever so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons. They are the people who bring this to you, so please give them a thumbs up. Thank you, patrons. Thank you everybody for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.